What's up, world? And welcome to today's edition of Solutions Every Day. Of course, I am Elliot Connie, and today's video is one that I've actually been thinking about making for a really long time, to be honest with you, because I'm going to talk about my thoughts and opinions about Dr. Phil, the talk show host, you know, all of the things that Dr. Phil is. Now, here, I'm going to make an admission. How many of you guys have a habit that you picked up during the COVID pandemic that maybe you're less than proud of? Okay, like maybe that you're just, it's not something you ever thought you would do. Some trash television you're watching, a board game you've picked up, who knows, video games, whatever it might be. So for me, it's Dr. Phil. When COVID happened, I sit in my office, at least I sit in my home office before I got removed from my home because of the storm. But when COVID happened, I would sit in my office. Now, anybody knows me knows that I like to write, but I don't like silence. So I have a TV in my office, and Dr. Phil would be on because he's on. It's like a Dr. Phil marathon on this one channel. I was watching Dr. Phil. And, I really, really struggle. Like, it's like trash television. I shouldn't watch it. But let me tell you what I think about Dr. Phil's show and why I think Dr. Phil's show is a bit dangerous, actually. So, number one, Dr. Phil is not a psychotherapist. He's not a licensed, he does not hold any license. And he often says misleading things that makes people think he is a licensed psychotherapist. Let me give you an example. As a licensed professional, I'm what's known as a mandated reporter, meaning if I hear about a situation where I think a child or an elderly person is potentially experiencing abuse or neglect, by law, I am mandated to report that to the protective agencies. And that's because of my license. Dr. Phil will frequently refer to himself as a mandated reporter, which is not true because he does not hold a license. The other thing Dr. Phil will do is people will be on the show and they'll ask him a question like, do I have insert diagnosis? Like, do you think I have bipolar disorder? And he will say, well, I can't do a diagnosis with you because I haven't been able to do the battery of tests and the interviews and the workup I would have to do an assessment, and I can't do that here, so I can't answer that question. But if I were to do those things, bipolar disorder would be on my short list. He'll frequently say things like that. But the true answer is, I can't do a diagnosis on you because I do not hold a license, right? So I think he misleads people at times, and it drives me nuts. As a mental health professional and as a psychotherapist, it drives me crazy that Dr. Phil does this, because what I think it's actually doing is it's giving people a misguided view of what psychotherapy is and what it does. And I've had clients come to my office and they're afraid to tell me things, and they'll say, I'm afraid to say this, and then I respond the way that I respond clinically, appropriately, the way I'm trained to do, and then they'll say things like, man, I'm so glad you didn't yell at me like Dr. Phil. And I actually think, people, I've heard him referred to as America's therapist, and after spending over a year, I've probably watched every Dr. Phil episode. It concerns me that he's on air representing himself as a mental health professional, as a licensed mental health professional. He does have a doctorate degree, and he is an expert in mental health stuff because of his training and all those things. But he is not a licensed professional, has not been for many, many years. And I think it's giving people a misguided view of what the clinical process is. So, therapy it's a wonderful thing. Like, talk therapy is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And a lot of times people find themselves in difficult circumstances. They find themselves in difficult life experiences, and they need a trained, licensed clinical person to be there for them and to help them in their time of need. And I want people to know that therapy does not look like, your therapist yelling at you and asking you, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And all the catchphrases Dr. Phil has come up with. Like, I think he's a wonderful TV host. I think he's a tremendous at what he does. It just happens to not be psychotherapy, and it happens to sometimes confuse people with the blurred line that make them think that it might be psychotherapy. So anyway, I get asked about Dr. Phil a lot. People ask me what I think about Dr. Phil. And I can remember in the early 2000s when he was coming to prominence on the Oprah show, I was a big fan. I really enjoyed watching his show. But now, when I watch it, it makes me cringe. And for some reason, I can't turn it off during the pandemic, man. I just sit and watch every freaking episode. But anyway, that's my take on it. I think what he does is wonderful. I think he's a great TV show host. But what he does is kind of misleading, because I don't think he is keeping the line very clear on what is psychotherapy and what is not. So anyway, look, I can't be, excuse me, I can't be the only person who has picked up a bad habit during COVID. So please, don't make me feel alone. Leave a comment below about something you're doing that you weren't doing before the pandemic that you picked up now. I've been honest with you and told you that mine is watching copious amounts of Dr. Phil episodes. What's yours? What is something that you're now doing that you weren't doing before? And let's all remember that talk therapy and psychotherapy is a wonderful thing, helps many, many people. And I'm very proud and honored to be a psychotherapist. Okay? Thank you for watching this edition of Solutions Every Day. Love y'all. Look, if you're on my Facebook page, please share this video, like my Facebook page. If you haven't done so already, head on over to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel. My channel is growing like crazy, and I'm so thankful and appreciative of all you guys. But like my channel, like my Facebook page, share this video, like this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Love y'all.